In this video, you will learn how to solve the 4x4. Now, in order to solve this 4x4, make sure you know how to solve a 3x3 first, and then you can solve the 4x4. Solving the 4x4, it will require 3 algorithms that you'll need to know. So, I will show those later in the video. Alright, so this is what it looks like when it's all scrambled, and what we want to do is we want to solve all of the little centers in the middle there. This is what it's going to look like when it's all finished. So the first thing you want to do is, if you start with white, you just find the white pieces. So there's one here, 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 and here. And what you're going to do is you're going to make bars. And what bars are, they're two pieces linked together like this. That's a bar. So how we can make a bar here is just by moving these two layers like that. You don't need to do that. You can if you want, but it's just easier to move it like that. So now we have one bar. Now we have to make the next bar. So these two are next, and how I can put these together without messing this white up is by moving this over like that, so it's right there. So when we line it up like this, it solves. And then I connect these by doing this. I move this out of the way so I can push that up. So the first one's pretty simple, but now the second one will get a little harder. So now we're going to make bars for the yellow center, because white is across from yellow, just like on a regular Rubik's Cube. So we can use this as a guide for our colors, so we'll come back to this when we need it. So we will join this one and this one by moving this one right here, because if we line them up like that, it'll line up. So how we connect these without ruining the white, you're gonna have to ruin the white, but you will fix it. So here's how you do it. You move it up so they connect, and then you're gonna move this out of the way. That way when you put this back down, they won't break. So now we can make a bar by just putting the yellow side and the white side on the sides and then moving it up like that. If the yellow is already in its spot, how you can get this here or get this one here is you move one of them up like this and rotate it in a certain way with just the top layer, not 2 layers, because you want to save the white and yellow. If you move it just with 1 layer and move it back down, it lines up. But make sure that you make it'll line up whenever you go down there, because if you just put it like this, if you bring it down, it doesn't even go down. If you bring it down this way, it doesn't line up. So make sure you have it lined up. So how we get this right here without messing up the white is we're going to put the yellow bar just like this here and here. That way they're lining up, they're on the same side. And what you're going to do here is, watch carefully, you're going to move this up like this, and then you move the top layer 2 times, because when we bring it back down, it'll connect the yellow, and we're fixing the white. So when we bring it back down, it solves the white and the yellow. So next, you want to have the yellow and the whites on the sides, because we don't want to ruin them. So we're going to hold them like this. So next, we can pick any color. The color easiest, I see we could do red, so because we already have a bar. And so we're going to be connecting bars by using the right layer. So here is another red piece here, and here's the other one. So why I just moved it like that is because it lines it up with this one, because if I put it down, it doesn't line up, but when I do this, it does. So then we're gonna move it to the side that this bar is not on. That way when we move it up, it connects. Now here's where we might need our 3x3. So if I hold the colors the way they are right now, like this, so I have white, red, and yellow. If we go up this way and do this one, it's going to be blue. So next we have to do the blue center. So we already have a bar there, so that's nice. So we need to connect these bars, and that's just simple. You can just go like that. But now we've broken our red, so how we fix that is we move this out of the way like we've been doing before with the yellow, and then you push it back up. That way it fixes the red. And then next I can solve these by pushing this up. That ruins the red. But if we turn this 2 times and then put it back down, it'll connect. Next, across from red is orange, so next we have to do that. So we're going to be solving green and orange at the same time. We just have to make sure that we put them in the correct spots. So there's a few cases here. I'll show them all. So there's one case where you have an L, and what you do is you put the L so it's like this, and the odd piece is the top right, and then you put the piece you want right here, so it should look like this. then you move the right layer up like this, turn the top, that way it lines up, and then when you turn it all back, everything fixes. If you have this case, like you learned before with the white and yellow, if you just move it up like that, turn the top 2 times, everything will align. And then if I have this case where I have 2 right here and 1 right here, what I can do here is I can make an L by getting these 2 bars right here. So remember, we're only going to be using the right layer because to turn and connect things, because if we move the left layer, it'll ruin things. But if we use the right layer and remember to undo the moves, it'll make it easier. So if I turn the right side up like this, and then move the top 2 times like that to get these 2 bars back down here like that, it makes an L. So now I can do the case before. We'll put the L like that, and then the piece we want right here, we put it right there, and then put them together. And the final case is where you have this case where you have nothing, there are no bars. So the orange needs to go here, so we can make a bar by connecting these 2 right here. Then we're going to move it in this layer, so when we bring it back down, it'll connect with this one, so it makes an L. Then we turn that side 2 times, that way we have an L here, and then like I did before, the piece that goes here needs to be here, so we move that over like that, and then put it in. So the next step is we're going to solve all of the edges, that way when we finish, it's going to look like a 3x3. So this is what it'll look like after you do this step. So what you're going to do here is you're gonna put white on top and yellow on the bottom and make sure that they stay there. So what you want to do is you want to pair up edges like this. So if you move the middle over like that, it pairs them. Then you're going to store it on the top layer like this so we don't ruin it, and then undo that move, and then it is restored. So let me show you how I did that. So what we're doing here is we're just going to pair this one up and this one up. It only works if the colors are not matching when you look at it like this, and if one's in the bottom layer and one's in the top layer, if when you move them over, it should solve. And then you're gonna put it into the top layer by doing up, over, down, and then you're gonna fix the middles, that way you don't ruin them again. And then if you see any solved ones, just make sure that you put them on the top layer because you don't want to ruin them. So by doing this, we want to save this one and this one. That one just happened to be there. You're going to actually put a good edge right here on the right side, right above this. And then we go up, over, down. And then that restores both of them. So now let's see if we can find another 2 edges. I don't see any more edges that I can quickly do. So now what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to grab some pieces from another side. So what I mean is if I see orange and white here and orange and white here, and how I compare these is if I move this up so I can move this over, that way this will go back down. If I push this over, it'll solve. And then I can put it into the top layer, and this is the only unsolved pair. So we're going to put this on the layer right here and make sure to fix the middles. So that's the top is done. When the top is done, you're going to put it on the bottom. So now we have a full new layer that we can work with. That one's already solved. So now we can look for more edges. Oh, there's one solved right there. And so I remember, you put the good edge right there, right above this one, up, over, down. Okay, and then now I'll look for an edge I can do. There aren't any easy edges, so if I find 2 edges I can do, like yellow and orange here, and yellow and orange, if I put it down like this, like I did before, and I move it, I can't pair them up. So how I do this is you're gonna have to memorize this algorithm. It goes like this: up, over, down, and then over of the front, and then down, over the other way with the front, and then back up. And what that does is that flips this piece. So it used to be here, but now it's here. And now I can solve it like this, and then continue going, and then fix the centers. Next, I'll look for more edges. There are no easy ones I can do, but here is a blue and white and blue and white. So this one needs to go right here. So if I put it down like this, now I can solve them. So I go like that, and put this to the top layer, and fix centers. Now I've gotten all edges good on the top layer and all edges good on the other layer. So now I still have 4 unsolved edges. So what do I do here? So what you're going to do is you're going to find 2 edges like white and green here, white and green, and you're going to turn them to the same side like this. I can do that because this one is still solved, this one's still solved. It doesn't matter where they are as long as they're in one of the top or bottom layers, so I can do that. And they're right here next to each other, so how I'm going to solve this is we're going to move this over, and then when we do that algorithm that I taught you before, when we push it back, because this was here but it flipped these, so now this one's here, when we push it back it'll solve. So now we're just going to leave that one there, and now that one happened to be solved, so now I'll show you what to do when we have 3 more. So now I have 1 solved and then 3 unsolved edges. So I do the same thing with 2 other edges. So here's 2 right here, so I can do the same thing as I did before with the white and green edges. And now that's solved. And now I have 2 left, and I just do the same thing because it'll solve both of these at the same time. Because when I turn it here, when I flip these, the yellow and blue will go right here, and when I turn it back it'll match up, and then this one will be here, and when I turn this it'll match up right with it. So when I do it, now when I match it up, they become solved. So that's how to do edges, and now we're going to solve it like a normal 3x3. But there are some things that there will come up, and I need to teach you an algorithm for it. So if you don't know how to solve a 3x3, you should learn that first before doing this. But I will put a link in the description below just in case you don't know. So I will solve it the way that I have my tutorial on it. So I'll just solve it, and I'll go kind of slow. Now I have the corners, so I gotta switch those and then solve the corners. Next, gotta do this step and then like that, and solve the rest. So, so let's say if you get, sometimes you might have this case where you have 2 just completely flipped, and when you do that, you're gonna do the algorithm as if you were doing this case right here where you have 3 edges swapped. And so how you would do that is you move the middle one up, turn the top 2 times, back down, and back over. So we're just going to do the same thing as we did with that. And now we have this case, so solve it like you normally would. And now finally you'll get to this stage where you have this flipped and this flipped. So this is an impossible situation on the 3x3, obviously. So this is what we call parity. It is a impossible situation on a Rubik's Cube, but it can happen on the 4x4, 6x6, 2x2. 2 pieces can just be swapped. In this case, it's 4 pieces, but it is acting like a 3x3, so technically it's just 2. So how I swap these is you do this algorithm. And that's it. Now if you get to this point, or in CFOP, if you get to PLL and you or OLL and you notice something strange about the edges, like there's no way to get all red and orange like this, and there's just one edge that just needs to be flipped, you have to do this algorithm. It is very long, so here we go. And that will ruin your corners if you're doing this method, so you just have to keep solving from there, but that will fix the edges, that way you can keep on solving. And you're going to have to memorize these solves because it comes in 50% of your solves, so make sure you memorize those algorithms. So there you go. That is how to solve the 4x4. Thank you for watching, and I really hope this helped. Have a great day.